Today we're going to talk about, should you build your business for cash flow or should you build your business to sell? My name is Michael Baraivo, able to build a team of 150 plus sales guys in less than 2.5 years. We did that with zero money invested, and now we have a lot of companies that are going like crazy from coast to coast like butter on toast. So let's talk about cash flow. I'm going to talk about cash flow business, the pros and the cons. Then I'm going to talk about how to, if you want to sell your business, the pros and cons of building for selling versus building for cash flow. So when it comes to a cash flow business, right? What I mean by cash flow business, you make a lot of money, right? You have your income, you have your expenses, you have some cash flow left over, and that net cash flow, you pay yourself, or you just leave it in the company bank account, but you actually building your business for cash flow, right? For profits. Now the pros for that, if you build a cash flow business, I'll give you an example of a cash flow business. A sales company, cash flow business. Some restaurants could be cash flow businesses, right? It depends. Any business can be a cash flow business, but it depends on how you structure it, right? But the reason why you want to build a cash flow business, the pros about it is that, you make money fast. First year, 2 years, 3 years, you can start making money and having that business pay for itself, right? And you have profits and surpluses. Number two, you can start with minimal investments. A lot of times, you don't really need that much money to invest in the company. You put the bare minimum of what you need. Let's say you open up a salon. You don't really need that much. 20, 30, 40 grand, boom, you open up a salon. You can start making money after 6 months to a year. It's a cash flow producing machine. Number three, you don't need to really reinvest a lot. Once you stabilize the business and the money keeps coming in, all you need is just clients, help them out, sell your products, sell your services, you just make money. Number four, you can live a good lifestyle much faster. So you don't have to wait 5, 10 years to sell the company. You can literally build, get some cash flow, and have a great lifestyle. Great apartment, great car, great dining, great this, great that, because you have cash flow coming in from the business, right? You also have a lot of cash on hand, which is power. Having cash flow is extremely powerful, and especially nowadays. Cash on hand is very powerful. Number six, there's low exit pressure. Meaning that you don't have to sit there and build to sell and build to exit, and there's no one on your back that's kind of like pressuring you that you need to sell the business or exit the company, right? So you're just sitting there letting that business run and milk it until the day dies. And number seven, usually when you have a cash flow business, a lot of times you have more control. Why? Because there's cash flow. And cash flow, in my opinion, is king. So what are the cons of having a cash flow business? Well, it's harder to recruit certain talent because sometimes, let's say your business is growing, and you need to hire a COO, but you're like, you know what, I'm not going to hire a COO. I'm just going to hire a regular operations person. And a lot of times it also may be hard to recruit people because they want equity. A lot of successful, high-quality individuals, they want to join your business, not just get paid a salary, but they want a salary plus bonus plus equity. And if you don't have equity sometimes, they may not want to join your company, right? Or stock options, right, as an example. So it may be harder to recruit sometimes in these specific situations. Number two, it's tough to always make the business work. It's not always easy to have a cash flowing business, right? It's hard. Sometimes it just doesn't work out the right way. There's a lot of people that open up a company, they just don't make money. So it's hard to create cash flow because sometimes you just are going through the struggle of trying to make the business work. Number three, you're always involved in a business because there's not really that much leadership you could put in place for the most part that's going to take care of your business the way you would. Right? Yeah, you could pay some good salaries, but at the end of the day, no one's going to want to stay there for 5 or 10 years without having some equity a lot of times or some kind of profit sharing, right? Number four, you could never exit the company. What are you going to do? The second you walk away, the business might collapse. Yeah, it might survive for a little bit here and there, but you still have to constantly be on top of your business. Number five, the company has to die eventually. Listen, either you're going to die or the company's going to die. Eventually it's going to die. And or you just pass it to someone that actually knows what they're doing, but then you have to either give them equity or pay them a good enough salary where they say, you know what, it's worth it, right? And number six, it's harder to scale if you don't reinvest into your business. Sometimes the business needs that cash flow to be reinvested back into the business. So it's kind of difficult. Do you reinvest your $250,000 in profit into new software to grow the company for the next couple of years? Or do you just pull out the $250 and just kind of, go buy some shit for your family or whatever it may be, right? That's the challenge of and the cons of having a cash flow business sometimes because it's not as easy as it sounds and for all the other reasons we just talked about, right? So let's talk about the pros of selling your business. If you're trying to sell your business to build it to one day sell it, right? The pros of that is that you can sell it for a big multiple. There's a lot of companies that sell for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 multiple in certain industries. So if their EBITDA, which is earnings before interest, taxes, and amortization and depreciation, right? And if you could sell it for a big multiple, let's say you make $1 million, or let's say 250 grand as an example of EBITDA, you can sell it for, let's say, 4 multiple. You can sell the company for $1 million as an example, right? You're only bringing in 250 grand in cash, of cash flow, but you're able to sell it for $1 million. Or you bring $1 million in cash, you're able to sell it for $5 million. Whatever the case may be, you could sell it for a big multiple a lot of times. Number two, you build systems so it doesn't depend on you. When you're building to sell, you're always focused on how do I build a system so I'm not involved in that process. And you're always investing into the system. You're always investing into the people because you know that you're trying to build a business so that you're not the one dependent on that company. Because if a buyer wants to come to buy your business, they're not going to buy it if it's all dependent on just one person. They want to know that the business will run efficiently and effectively without you physically being there, which is why you need the right system and you need the right people, right? Number 3, you could be financially retired after the business is sold. Think about it. You sell a company for 4, 5, 6, 7, 10, 20, 30 million. You don't have to work if you don't want to, right? It's an opportunity for yourself to kind of be retired. Number 4, you can hire great people since the equity is your golden handcuffs. You can hire some amazing CFOs, COOs, leaders, salespeople, managers, whoever it may be that want to join your company because you give them a share of the profit and say, hey, listen, one day we're going to sell this company. Boom, golden handcuffs. They want to stay there for a long time and invest in the company so you can eventually sell it. Number 5, it's extremely scalable. If you're building to sell, very scalable. And number 6, it attracts a lot of investors. When you're building to sell, investors will love to invest because guess what? They invest $1 million, they could see a return on their money for a couple of dollars, right? That's a very beautiful thing about building a business to sell. The cons of selling a business, right, or building a business to sell it one day, is that you have high demand and high pressure. I have a friend of mine who was in a tech startup, and demand was crazy, pressure was crazy. You're just on high alert 24/7, right? Because cash is really low sometimes because it's really difficult because you got to keep reinvesting. It's very difficult. Number 2, finding the right buyer. Sometimes it's hard to find a buyer. If you're in the right marketplace, you'll find someone, but in the wrong marketplace, it's very difficult to find someone that wants to buy your business. Then they got to do due diligence and do this and do that. It's a lot of fucking work to sell a company. It's not easy, right? Number 3, getting your business ready to be sellable with systems and people is a tough thing. It's not easy. You have to have the right people. You have to have the right systems. You have to have this. You have to have that. It's not an easy task to do, right? Number 4, the potential loss of control from equity partners. Think of it this way. You build your business. You invite a bunch of people that are gaining equity because they invested in the business. They're building a business. You obviously eventually have the potential to lose control of your business. Happens all the time. You're the founder, but the founder has no control because it's not your business anymore. It's the investor's business or the equity partner business, right? So it's very, very scary sometimes. Number 5, it can crash fast. Sometimes there isn't enough cash flow. So it's very challenging. One of my friends lost his whole business. It was a 5-year-old company and they couldn't get the right investors. Then the last minute, and then boom, the company went to zero, zilch. It was an awesome company. Happens a lot. So there's a lot of pros and cons in cash flow business. There's a lot of pros and cons in selling a business. You just got to figure out, what are you willing to do? Are you willing to work hard for a couple of years, 4, 5, 6 years, and eventually sell for a big payout? Or are you trying to solve for a problem for today and bust your ass today to build a cash flow company? Which one would you choose? I'll let them know your opinion in the comments. I appreciate you guys. I love you guys. If you love this kind of content, do me a favor, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you guys in the next video.